Welcome back, everybody. Yankee and the Brit presents MMA Underground Weekly live. We got your host on the Yankee. There's the Brit, and we have the modern day Aztec warrior, Buddy V, showing off some of the merch right off the bat. There you go. So, you guys, before we bring in our guest, I just want to say there's a couple title fights from UFC we're going to talk about later on. But we're going to talk about the Scrapyard event that just happened, too, which I'm really excited because all these fights are going up. Buddy was there. He'll have some insight for us. But with that said, this show is mostly Scrapyard this week. So let's bring in the heavyweight champion, a guy that everybody seems to be ducking, the Terrifier, Wisconsin's own, Badass.
What's going on?
What's up, Terrifier?
Woo, woo, woo.
Every time. Jay's got to get the Wisconsin in there. Anytime he meets anybody from Wisconsin, he's got to say, oh, yeah, Wisconsin, blah, blah, blah. So what's it like being the biggest fighter out of Wisconsin right now?
I'm not the biggest fighter out of Wisconsin, but one day I will be. That's for sure. One day I will be.
Heck yeah.
Every time you meet a person from Wisconsin, they're automatically your brother. You got to talk about beer and you got to talk about sports with them. That's the only thing you can talk about with them. You can't talk about anything else.
That's actually really funny because one of my questions I want to ask you is, what kind of beer do you drink, man? Because you said in one of your fights, I'm ready to go home and drink some beer, and I was like, I felt that. I was like, yeah.
I drink very high quality IPAs. Great notion. If you hear me, sponsor me. That's my favorite brewery out of Portland.
Heck yeah. Lots of craft beers. You guys got a favorite?
I drink Guinness or Sam Adams.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of semi-quit drinking. I mean, I'm going to Cardiff this weekend with my mate who it's impossible not to drink with, so I imagine I'll be slotting some back there. We have a great brewery in Wales called Tiny Rebel. That's the one to go for if you're over here. Tiny Rebel. It's fantastic. Really, really good. Yeah.
I'm going to have to visit.
Yeah, man.
Make a beer trip.
You'll have to come over. I mean, we don't fight in scrapyards. We just go and fight outside of pubs.
Actually, Street Beef is opening up a branch in Britain.
Yes, I heard about that.
So you guys do fight in scrapyards.
Fuck. Yeah, Jay's gonna get me go now.
We need you on there, Brett.
Jay's gonna get me to go. I'm gonna have to have a fight. Like, Jesus.
Hey, I was just joking the other day when I was on the chat for Cuzzo's reactions, and I said if you have a division for overweight 40-year-olds podcasters, I'm in, and somebody said Cuzzo, and I was like, I'll do boxing only if I can do the reaction video to our fight with him.
Yeah,
that's the fight right there. That's the fight to make.
I'll have a fight if I'm allowed to tag team with Terrifier, and you just take them both.
I'll carry you, Brett.
Limited time out. Yeah.
I don't know if Terrifier can hear me, but if you can. What's up with everybody like pulling out of your fights, man? What's up with that?
I don't know what it is, man. I'm just a nice guy. I just like hugging people. That's it.
You broke the dude's ribs.
What's up?
You broke DTP's ribs, man.
Yeah, I did. I was hungry. I needed a rack to take home with me.
I mean, it was the hugs that you were giving to Sweet Tooth that I was the most interested in.
Yeah, that was an interesting fight. I wish that fight got a little more views because I think that's like my most entertaining fight.
Yeah, the first one, I thought the ref called it off early, but you probably were going to kill him. The second one, that was a slog. You guys slogged it out. That was a lot of fun to watch.
I mean, what was it, like 51 strikes to 5?
Yeah, man.
I don't know if you want to call that a slogger fest. I mean, maybe more of a survival, you know?
Yeah, slugging it out, like, you know.
I forgot who you fought when you did that kickboxing match. Was that King Abel?
It was a boxing match, and yeah, it was King Abel. That's because, speaking of people pulling out, if you ever look up a man named Morningstar, he pulls out fights a lot, and he pulled out the heavyweight title fight with me for MMA, and that's how I ended up boxing King Abel. I'm not a boxer by any means. I don't like I like boxing, but it's not my cup of tea. I don't like being limited in one aspect of fighting. I like doing everything.
Yeah.
I do have a question about your next fight, and I know Fire Chicken Steve is not going to love me for this, but our guest next week is Shinagami. So I'm wondering, can we get that? Can we get Terrifier Shinagami?
A fight between me and him? You want to see that?
Yeah, I just think it'd get a lot of views on the internet. Like, I have a feeling what would happen, but as a content creator, I'm all about views, and your star is growing. Shinagami's known for that devastating head kick to detail, so I think it would just draw a lot of views.
Yeah, it probably would, but I think it wouldn't be that competitive. I kind of feel like it'd be a slaughter fest.
I feel like
that was Steve's feeling.
I like Shinagami likes to set his stuff up and kind of get ready to go. And like you kind of have like that aggressive, just go,
yeah,
boom, boom, boom.
I'm setting the pace right away. I'm pushing forward right away. I'm giving you pressure right away. I'm a pressure fighter, and I'm gonna put the pressure on you. And I don't think he likes pressure fighters. He likes to use his range. That's how he got that beautiful head kick on detail, because he wasn't pressuring him. I'm not saying that detail was a better fighter than him. I'm sure Shinagami would probably have beaten him in other ways, but detail wasn't giving him the pressure that Shinagami doesn't like.
Oh yeah,
strong words. I think that's setting up a fight. I'm excited for it if it does happen.
I want to see that nasty native.
You know who I
fight.
want to see? You know who I want to see? I want to see Scorpio versus Shinagami. Scorpio versus Shinagami is the fight to make.
Yeah,
it is.
Scorpio
can't be knocked out.
Yeah,
I don't think that man can get knocked out. So I want to see him fight Shinagami.
That's not a bad matchup at all. I think that's a great matchup. I would have thrown Solo out there even, because I think he'd be hard for Shinagami to knock out. But what's next for you? Now that you're the champ, man, you're the champ. What's next?
I'm just gonna get a few. I'm gonna get a few warm-up fights. Then I'm fighting Nasty Native MMA. That's what I want. That's my challenge right there. I respect him. He's a phenomenal striker. He's a phenomenal wrestler. He's a phenomenal MMA fighter. And I feel like it'll be my first true test of just like how skilled I am. Because people think I'm just a big guy, but I actually am a skilled fighter, and I want to prove that. And I feel like against Nasty Native, there'll be no excuses to the reason why I beat him. They're like, okay, he beat a skilled man. There will be no other reason why I beat him.
I'm hyped for that, man. I saw that post in West Coast, and he was like, I'm coming to take the belt from the Terrifier. I'm not going to defend it, though. No disrespect. I'm just coming to take the belt and prove a point. And I'm like, oh, Terrifier.
He ain't taking nothing from me, but it's still gonna be a good fight.
Oh, yeah.
I think I'm going to dominate personally, though, but, that's just me.
You think that's going to go a full 3 rounds?
No, it won't go 3 rounds.
All right.
It won't go 3 rounds.
Wow. Going in hard.
Either I'm going out or he's going out.
Yeah, heck yeah. Leave it all out there.
Yeah, so we were meant to have another guest on this podcast, as I recall, as we were interviewing it last week. So what happened there? Do you want to give us a little information about what happened to the guest that we were meant to be having in Kenny?
Oh, Kenneth. I forgot about Kenneth. Nah, he's just some internet troll. I mean, he can't keep his word. He promised he was going to be on the show, and he knew that this was coming up, and he decided he's the one who actually convinced me to come on the show. I mean, I love being on the show, don't get me wrong. But he's the one who said, hey man, we should go on this show and promote our fight. I'm like, okay, I'm down. And he's not here today.
Hopefully he doesn't do that on the fight call.
He doesn't like me saying bad. What's up?
Oh, I was just gonna tell them how you two are in a group chat with me, and man, there's some going back and forth, and you pull 0 punches when talking to Duke.
Yeah, I can get under people's skin. I'm good at that. I grew up getting trash talked, and that's what me and my friends did to each other all the time. That's what I like doing.
Now, I'm really interested for that fight because, like, say, he's talking mess, this and that, but he said it's his amateur debut. So I'm really curious to see the level of performance because, it's like, yeah, street fighting is way different than cage fighting. Everyone will tell you street beast when you first step in, that cardio gets you because it's not going to get stopped after 20, 30 seconds. And especially with someone like you putting that pressure on being an aggressive fighter.
I'm definitely underestimating him. He said that he has 3 years of kickboxing experience and about a couple months of judo. That's not. You got to have more than a couple months of judo to hang with me. What are you gonna do once you get me to the ground if you do use your judo? And he has a kickboxing fight apparently, and he's 0-1 in that.
Oh.
Apparently, he's saying he's a more known guy. More people know him than me. And I'm like, can you please show me a fight? Like,
I love this guy.
Have you guys seen a fight with him? Have you guys? Any of you seen a fight?
I haven't seen a fight yet.
I haven't.
Okay. So he's just talking out his ass.
He was asking us on the show.
I just heard you were gonna fight him, so I was like, "Fuck it, let's get him on him." He's fighting Terrifier, so I was like, "Yeah, I'll promote that fight when he asked me." But I don't know who he is. But I do know that you guys do a lot of good shit talking, and it definitely made me laugh.
Yeah, he's 0-1 in kickboxing, so he's actually that's a record in some aspects.
I'm curious to see how you're going to use some of your reach advantage because you're what, 6'3"?
Yeah, I am 6'3", yes.
Yeah, he's 5'11", so I know that every inch makes a difference, especially when you know how to use your distance against him. So I mean,
yeah, he's gonna feel a couple jabs to the face. I have a nice jab. People underestimate my jab. I'm not using that sucker though.
I mean, the jab that you just toss somebody like they're a rag doll. Woo! I was gonna say
he weighs about 230. He weighs about 230, and he has no grappling experience. Sweet Tea was 260, 270, and he took 5'8" Washington for wrestling. And you see you see how I ragdolled him now. So I don't know. I feel like it's gonna be another ragdoll. It's gonna be easier though. He's only 230. Apparently, he's saying that he's gonna gain 20 pounds in this short amount of time. Of what? Fat? Water? Are you gonna go to the gym and gain 20 pounds of muscle? Come on, bro.
Just that added weight to carry around as well. Like, not even thinking of how absolutely impossible that is. But imagine just like you're fighting all the time at 230, and then we put a 20-pound weight. I'm saying this in pounds because I don't know what pounds converts to in kilograms for the European audience.
Sorry that America's messed up with the weight system.
But yeah, it's like putting a 20-pound weight and asking a guy to like go for a run or have a fight. Like, he's not going to be used to that. He's not going to be used to carrying it. I just think just stay at your weight and learn to fight that way. Like, learn how to fight that way, and maybe don't go to the ground against Terrifier might be the way to try and avoid it.
Yeah, but he's not going to have a choice.
I mean, when I was watching your fight against Sweet Tooth as well, I was kind of sat there just like, I mean, he could not take this to the ground if he really wanted to. He could just let go and try and knock the dude out again instead, which is also an option for you. So it's almost like Kenneth doesn't really have a lot of options the way that you're looking at it.
We're gonna find out. Hey, but he's on the other side of the map. I live in Washington State. He stays down south somewhere, and who knows if he even makes it? You know what I mean? Who knows if he even comes to the fight?
Right. I mean, they're posting there. I hope so. Fingers crossed. You got to talk to Messi. You got to back it up.
Yeah, I've already had
Definitely.
I've already had 2 guys pull out. I mean, I'm pretty much, I won't be disappointed if he pulls out. I mean, okay, I'm used to it at this point.
Bro, you're a fucking monster. So it doesn't surprise me they pulled out. But I have to ask, where did fighting come from? Is that just growing up in Racine? And anybody from Wisconsin knows that Racine don't fucking play.
You know Racine, and that's not a good city. People don't think Wisconsin has there's shitty cities, but Racine's literally sandwiched in between Chicago and Milwaukee, like the most fucked up cities in America. And so you get some pretty shitty people there. And I grew up around shitty people. I love my city, but there's not a lot of good people there. I personally think. I was bullied. I was a kid who grew up getting picked on and shit. So like I was in a fight every week. Every weekend I was in a fighting different guys. I got my ass kicked a few times, but I got to high school and I start doing wrestling and I start taking that very seriously. And I excelled in wrestling. I was top 10 wrestler in my state at my weight class. I went to 3 different state tournaments. I was a 2-time all-state wrestler. So like my body started getting muscular. I started getting some height on me, and I did a year of boxing. I never competed. I did a year of boxing. After that, I was gonna go to school. I was gonna go to school for wrestling, but I decided that the military is the route I want to go. So I joined the military, and I haven't done any martial arts for about 3 years at that point. Just like basically just focusing my life on the military. Then recently, I was watching a Street Beast video, and I saw Scarface, and he was like, "Shout out to Washington, our brothers in Washington." I was like, "What? Washington D.C. or Washington State?" So I immediately went on my phone and I looked up Street Beefs, and there you know it, Gig Harbor, Washington, a city that I'm in every weekend, basically, because my woman stays there, so I'm always there. So like, oh, that's down the street from where I'm usually at. So I went and I fought Sweet Tea. Then I started after that I started training with Hammerhead MMA out in Olympia.
Ooh, okay.
If you know Nerd Rage, if you heard Nerd Rage, that's my training partner. He's a badass. And Ron Lampman, Anomaly, that's awesome. He's my teammate, but I look at Anomaly more as a coach because he has so much knowledge of fighting. He's a purple belt in jiu-jitsu. I think he should be a brown belt. He's purple belt in jiu-jitsu. He has that striking background. He's a phenomenal striker, even for being 60. He can hang with those young guys. So yeah, he's not necessarily a coach at the gym, but he feels like a coach to me. He has far more knowledge than I do in martial arts.
He's like that Tom Brady style guy, you know, like he's been around. He's the coach on the field. He's the coach that still
exactly.
give up playing.
There
yeah,
you
the
go.
coach on the field. Yeah.
Exactly.
And he's always helping out the fighters there too. One of the matches I had that I won with Lights Out, that BJJ match, the move I did is a move that he showed me. And every time he'll go up to whoever wins, loses, you should have done this. Oh, do this. Turn around. Okay, this is how you do it. And the striking, the peekaboo, I love that peekaboo style. He does it so clean. He just coming up, whoop, boom, boom, whoop, boom, 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 beating up guys third of his age, man.
And he's fast.
What I've got to ask you is what I noticed, especially whilst watching your second fight with Sweet Tooth. Also, the Halloween edition. What is the referee wearing? That's fucking shit scary. Anyway,
I think he's supposed to be kind of a gimp. He's supposed to be a gimp.
I thought it was a gimp. I was thinking more like a clown, like a gestury joker kind of thing. But like, one, is that off-putting? And two, when you are in the ring and everybody's talking to you on the side, so when you're grappling with Sweet Tooth on the floor and everything's really so, like, it's not like they're just shouting to you, they're giving you direct instructions saying, put your arm around here and put your arm over here and all of that kind of stuff. Are you listening to any of that? Is that helpful at all to you?
I was basically zeroing out all the voices. I was listening to my corner man Ron. Ron was my corner, and I was pretty much listening to him. I mean, it's like riding a bike for me. Like all that stuff comes natural the way I grapple. Like I really don't think. I just do. It's like a flow. Like, okay, he's doing this. Let me change levels right here. Like Buddy V knows, he wrestles.
Yep.
He knows that you don't think about that stuff. That stuff just happens. Like
It's drilled into you. You just know it. Muscle memory.
yeah, like striking, you get like, okay, I'm gonna do this jab. Maybe I'm gonna throw this. But wrestling, I feel like it's just like a flow. You just react.
Yep. Like those sprawls. When someone goes to shoot, your legs just automatically bloop.
And probably one of the final questions that we've got for this interview, because we don't want to take up all of your evening, but let's say Kenneth doesn't show up. It seems like that could be the way it's going. If he couldn't sit down to do a video interview, he might not show up to fight. Buddy V, are you going to take up the fight just to make sure that our man Terrifier has got a fight?
I mean, I've heard of taking one for the team, so I mean, I guess that's a winning situation.
You see his fight with Simo?
Right.
That was a good ass fight.
I want you to have full pads, and I want some shoulder pads just in case.
Maybe some stilts.
You can bring a Glock with you if you want.
Some stilts. Maybe a second person. Maybe you and Gash in a big big trench coat. You and Gash fighting on the shoulder.
Yeah.
Gash's kicks might get me. I don't know. Those motherfuckers are. Ooh, those things look like they hurt.
Yeah, Gash.
They get better every time. You see those last two opponents? They could barely even walk afterwards, limping all the way out.
She knows how to kick.
I was gonna ask real quick before everything. So we obviously have not seen native in the fight. Would you be willing to travel to any other locations?
What's up?
Would you be willing to travel to any other locations? Because obviously we have the Scrapyard invasion in May. But would you rather go to Dirty South or the West Coast or the OG Yard ever, or you just want to stay at the Scrapyard and people come get you?
Well, okay. So the thing about that is, do you know? I'm not allowed to leave Washington State without going on leave or asking special permission. So it's kind of hard for me to leave the state. So that's why Washington is very convenient for me.
I got some family that suffers from that too. They can't leave the state.
Well, that's because I'm the military shit, whatever. So, but I would love to go and fight in the OG Yard maybe in the summer. I would love to do that. Maybe go invade the West Coast because I know those guys down there don't really like me. I was talking a lot of crap to them. They had DDP destroying me, so I got a little offended by that. I got a little butthurt. I'm a sensitive guy. They said he's gonna take my soul. I'm gonna gas out in round one. And he's gonna knock me out. And so I was talking a lot of crap back to the heavyweight guys. Like, so they all have some beef with me down on the West Coast. But I'd love to travel there. I'll be willing to travel.
I have one more question.
Go ahead.
So my last question for you is, you seem very excited to fight in most of your fights. This last fight, you seemed angry. You're like, done talking, just want to go home and drink beer. Did that have something to do with why you were seemed a little more on edge?
Yes. I was very upset. I felt I got disrespected and I want to prove a point. You mean, if they wouldn't have said all those mean, nasty things to me, I wouldn't have wrestled DDP at all. I would have just played patty cake with him for a couple rounds, maybe. I was like, you know what? I'm just going to beat his ass. No disrespect to DDP. He's a great guy. We actually hung out before we fought. But I took him out to lunch, We had some Thai food. He was very nice to my woman. He was a very nice guy. Very intelligent man. But I told him, looked him in his eyes, like, tomorrow, we're gonna see if you can really back up what you say, what you guys think of you. And he said, yeah, man. He's like, tomorrow all the friendship shit is out the window. And when we went in that cage, all that just went out the window. And I just thought about all the stuff his homies were saying. I was looking him in his eye. He looked very confident. And I was like, okay, man. Then I started with that jab, and I got that. I immediately, after I slipped that punch, I had his body was over my back. Like, I was like, oh, I just went for that S grip behind his back, and I was like, okay, I got a body lock. Then I was like, okay, and he's a little off balance in this. Like, I'm gonna throw him. He's a big guy, though. He's definitely
Imagine just being able to throw somebody. That'd be so much fun. But yeah, I mean, we're gonna let you go now, Terrifier, and all I can say is, if you are going to travel, when the military do let you on leave to go to the States, to leave your state, then what you should do, the correct answer, is to fight in the UK yard, be our first big British name, American name in the UK.
You know what? That's a great idea. And I really, really want to visit the UK really bad. That's like
I'll show you the best pie shops, whatever else.
Okay.
You Americans think that we do, like a good tea place, I guess.
Okay.
You know? We'll ride a double-decker red bus. We'll do it all.
Yeah.
And then you can go smoke some Roadman from the ends, you know? Yeah.
All right.
I'm getting my
Your
ticket too.
feet just spotted dick.
All right, man. We'll let you go.
Guys.
We'll see you soon.
Thank you,
All right,
Terrifier.
thank you. Hey,
right.
maybe I'll see you guys again after the Kenny G. What's his name again?
Kenneth.
Kenneth fight.
Fuego.
Yeah,
Kenny Fuego. Yeah, that's
after
it.
the Kenneth fight. I'll come back on and I'll talk about it. How about that?
We'll talk all about it after the Kenny Fuego fight. Let's.
All right.
We'll break that down.
All right, thank you guys. Bye.
All right, see you later, man. Bye bye.
Out. Heck yeah.
All right. What a good guess.
Interview.
Yeah, what a good guy. Yeah, a lot of fun.
Yeah,
And
I really enjoyed him.
Yeah.
I should have had him say how the vibe was on the scrapyard event, man, because it was definitely a very interesting event. The first handful of fights, all first round knockouts. I should have told him what, when the pace got set, how we felt coming in after. Dang.
Yeah, we'll have to catch him after the.
Well,
Kenny
buddy,
Fuego
what I
fight.
want to know is, how did it feel to get back in there?
I felt phenomenal. It was interesting to say the least. I felt like it was definitely a good matchup because I fought Simo, and I came bringing some gear for him that I made, some merchandise, and he was all excited. I was like, man, I can't wait to see who my opponent is. And then Fire Chicken asked me, he's like, if everything works out, would you fight Simo? I was like, sure, I'm down. And then after that, Simo came out, and he's like, you know who you're fighting? I was like, is it you? He's like, yeah, I want to fight you. And I'm like, all right, cool, let's hurry up, get it out the way. And it was definitely fun. Like I said, it was interesting. He was definitely trying to more grapple. I was more striking, and we tried to utilize our strengths the best we could. Went to the judges. It was close. And nobody wants to lose, so he obviously felt he won it. I felt I won it, but judges gave it to him, and so I got to respect that. And if I wanted to win, I shouldn't have let it go to the judges. But yeah, I'm excited. Next month, I'm coming out harder, coming out faster. Now it feels good to be back. I did a little bit better than I anticipated, so I'm ready.
Yeah, just like Josh Allen, don't let it go to overtime. All right.
Good.
But it's good to hear that you're back, man. And I'm looking forward to watching it because you're an electric fighter. What are some of the fights that you're saying we've got to watch? Like as soon as they come out on YouTube, we've got to watch them straight away.
So yeah, we have the Terrifier. The Scotty Showtime one was crazy cool. I found out that was an internet call out. So if anyone hasn't seen that, check that one out. Oh man, Scotty backs up his name 1,000%. And so I think there's gonna come a point where maybe people get scared to say anything else to him because he's proven everybody wrong. The Hands of Stone.
I actually watched that fight, and soon.
What's up?
I was just saying, I watched that fight, and as soon as I got done watching it, I hit Scotty up on Facebook and like, dude, you handled business fast.
Oh yeah, that one was Yeah, he definitely. You can tell. You don't see all the aftermath. That's why I love being at the events too, because then like you see the fight and it's just cool on camera. Then aftermath, he was pretty upset and he's just like, I don't think, no, let's run that back. Oh no, blah 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 blah. And it's like you lost. End of story, man. You're knocked out. You're down. I mean, 2 different times I saw it. So just be sorry. Take your loss like a man. You talk your mess. You lost. And sorry, come back better next time. The other one I really liked was the Blacksmith Lights Out fight. That one, if you want to talk about back and forth, 2 different styles, one a little bit more wild, one a little bit more composed, and you can see tit for tat, every person getting a chance to expose the other's opportunity or weakness, I should say. And man, that was on the edge of the seat. Oh man, I'm trying to think. There's one other one, I can't think of the name. But there was a lot because there was a handful of first timers. They came out, and I think it was Hands of Stone was the other one that really. I don't want to say who won or who lost, but there was a flurry of punches where that one didn't make it the full 3. I'll say that.
Well, without giving away the winner, because I don't want to step on Scrapyard's videos and be the spoiler, there was a title fight. Who did Jay Gotham fight for the title?
Oh, shit. I don't know why I'm forgetting his name. It was an MMA fight because he stepped up. Oh my goodness. I am so sorry I'm spacing on the name. All I know is that was a good fight.
No worries.
There's no way that Jay Gotham's getting in the ring.
Golden Arms.
The Golden Arms fight was insane. That and the Canadian was, you could definitely see a classic case of speed versus power. But man, Golden Arms' arms are bigger in person. I thought the video, I said, the camera's supposed to add 10 pounds. It takes off 10 pounds of you coming in with his arms bigger than his whole head. I was like, dang.
I'm glad I didn't have to ref that fight because I had it round 1 for the Canadian, round 2 definitely after he got dropped for Golden Arms. So going into that 3rd round, I was glad I wasn't the ref. I mean, the judge.
Right? Some of those fights, it's like, ooh, I'm glad I get to spectate it. Run alternate angle camera. That's all I want.
And just the final bit about street beefs today, before we move on to some MMA title fights and things like that. Buddy V's ones to watch, our new regular occurrence for our live show. Who have we got? Who are we watching? Who's our up and coming fighter?
Sorry. Well, the 2 I have right here, I actually got 2 for today. One, the Street Beefs West Coast Golden Arms. I mean, like I said, dude's a beast. He's got power the whole time. I mean, I walk down my opponent sometimes, but I get pinged. I mean, he's walking down his opponent unfazed. He's getting hit, and he's still moving forward the whole time. Boom, boom, boom. I really like what he does in the ring, and I think that as long as he continues to grow, he'll have a lot more stuff to show us, I guess you could say. I found out he trains mostly by himself. He doesn't go to a gym, anything else with a heavy bag, this and that. And so if he got into a gym, ooh, talk about some deadly skills. Then the other one's Lights Out from Street Beef Scrapyard. I like him. He's on the rise. I don't want to say, what happened in the fight with him and Blacksmith, but he's continually growing, boxing, MMA. He fought Yupon when he was 20-something pounds heavier than him. I mean, the dude just fights. We had the Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu match. He's out. He wants to get in the ring every chance he gets. He doesn't care who. He wants to get in there and put on a show. And, I mean, the gas tank, he's like an Energizer bunny. I mean, I'm sitting here and he's throwing haymaker after haymaker. Oh, he's got to be tired. And still going. Woo, 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 woo. All right. Hey, if you got it, use it. So those are the 2 I have for this week.
Fantastic. Yeah. And that's what I love about Street Beefs as well, is all the different types of martial arts you do. Because there's Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu now. Like, they're just adding to it. Just adding and adding and adding. I'm sure there's some sort of Mongolian martial art that you guys can start adding in next. That you guys can give a go. Now let's move on to the UFC. Some UFC 270. Yeah. And so your boy was right. 0-1,
Yeah, you're right. I'll give you that.
I gotta ask. And this isn't to take anything away from Francis. Okay, it's not. He won that fight. But what the hell was Cyril Gane doing going for a leg lock in the last round when it's to me, I thought it was 2-2, and you just keep the top position and you win the fucking fight.
Yep. Enough. Sorry, kids are real low loud. Right, I saw that heel hook and he has him in there. I'm like, oh, come on, man. And then he starts spitting out of it. I'm like, oh. I was definitely surprised. Like I said, you were right. Crazy to me that Gon. I thought you were going to be able to utilize a lot of his strikes a little bit more, but Ngannou was just eating some of those shots. Like he's just going in, going. I was so surprised. I mean, yeah, it could have gone either way a little bit, but Ngannou definitely came out on top at the end. Oh my gosh!
Come to find out, Ngannou was fighting with a torn MCL.
I didn't know that.
He's a
What?
badass, man. Because he's a fucking badass, and you do not bet against Ngannou. And when somebody is that fucking huge and that fucking tough, I back them in a fight all the time.
Right? He's so strong, his muscles hold his tendons in place.
Well, now that he doesn't have a UFC contract, I was reading before we came on, and I don't know how true it is because it was on like MMA Junkies, which they're pretty good, but Dana White is in talks with John Jones versus Stipe for the vacant heavyweight belt.
What? That would be ooh. I saw a tweet that John Jones said something about smoking everybody or smoking coming out. So I feel like that might be true. Ooh.
I think it'd be a great fight. I think it'd be John Jones's hardest opponent because we saw that Stipe DC wasn't too big of a fight for him. Francis, even though he lost, wasn't too big of a fight for him. I think it'd be John Jones's toughest fight. And if you look at defenses of titles, Stipe's the greatest heavyweight in UFC history.
Yeah. You know, I heard something weird. I don't know if it's true too. I heard that Jake Paul recently became like a part owner of the UFC too. They wanted to try to fix some fighter pay. I know it's a little off topic, but I just saw that.
Yeah, I don't know. I know Jake and Dana go at each other, but I think if they ever sat down in a room, they'd probably respect each other because they both make huge bags of money.
Yeah, I mean, it's difficult to respect somebody who says you do a shit ton of cocaine and then you do drug tests and ask him to do a test for steroids and he refuses to do one. So maybe not. Maybe not.
I definitely feel like those
every time Jake Paul gets Dana White to talk about him, it's a win for Jake Paul.
Oh yeah, staying relevant, staying in everybody's mouth. I mean, I'm not going to say necessarily I agree with the way he goes about stuff, but he definitely knows how to bring in views. He knows how to get the money. And I mean, he was already internet famous as it is, so he's just taking it and going to the next level, And like, yeah, they would respect each other if they actually sat down. I feel like business-wise, because Jake Paul knows to make certain moves, he has to make certain sacrifices. He's growing a lot, and regardless of whether you hate him, you like him, he's had some big names he got to fight against. He's had eyes on him, whether it's good eyes, whether it's bad eyes, he has the attention. And he's in his right mouth. So, I mean, he's just constantly in the scene, growing and growing. I mean, whether the target on his back is good or bad, I want to see the cash flow in the next 5 to 10 years and what he does with the spotlight.
Yeah, I mean, the FBI are investigating him, I'm pretty sure, for being a fraud, but anyway, doesn't matter. We'll gloss over that. When you're that rich, it doesn't really fucking matter, does it? Yeah, he does it the YouTube way. The fight that I want to see Jake Paul do, and what everybody should want to see him do, is fighting Logan Paul. It's like the Klitschko brothers, but YouTube. Like, everybody wants to see the Klitschko brother. Everybody wanted to see the Klitschko brothers fight. I want to see the Paul brothers fight, but I want them to only do it while speaking in those stupid ass voices they do on the Disney Channel.
Yeah,
they have to do every press conference Disney Channel style.
Yeah. And then what was it? I saw Khabib was maybe gonna fight Jake Paul. Jake Paul came to MMA, and there was like certain stipulations and this and that. I mean, there's all sorts of articles of whatever going on.
I would love to see Khabib just maul Jake Paul, but before we get too far off, really shocked about the decision. Anybody else really shocked about the decision in the Moreno-Figueiredo fight? Because I actually thought Moreno won that fight, but maybe I was just being a homer because I picked him. I don't know, but I thought he won that fight.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I was looking at the card because I wrote down all the scores, And I feel like in that, in that fourth round, had two of the judges giving it to Moreno, not Figueiredo, he would have won it, which was a surprise to me because, I mean, you start breaking it down, and, I mean, in that fourth round, Moreno has almost 2 times the amount of striking with significant strikes against Figueiredo, and he's doing damage. I mean, even if he came back in that fifth round, like I said, all it would take is if all judges would have gave Moreno that fourth round, he would have came out victorious, and I'm a little baffled at that, personally. I mean, the fifth round, yeah, I give it to Figueiredo. His strikes were a lot more significant, doing a lot more damage, actually almost dropping Moreno, seeing his body get wobbly. And, I mean, it could have gone either way. But I personally think Moreno should have won it.
I'll say this. I've never said this before. I got to see a fourth fight. And I know it sucks for those dudes to spend 2-3 years just training to fight each other. But after the way all of these went down, I got to see a fourth one.
And they said Mexico, right? He said maybe fourth round Mexico.
They were talking.
I think it's like home court advantage of basketball and football. He doesn't have the support of his people, this and that. It just helps you to dig down a little bit deeper. And if the fights are always consistently this close, the first one, draw. Second one, Moreno. Third one, Figueiredo. No, second Moreno, third Figueiredo, sorry. I mean, back and forth, so close every single time. I mean, at the fourth one, they might just have to call it quits after that. Whoever has it's the finalist between the two of them. I mean, you can't. You're both great warriors. You're a great match against each other. But I mean, I want to see you knock out some other heads too.
Yeah, and it's kind of unfair to hold up the division because all the other fighters who want a shot. But man, these two have just been so entertaining. And I actually think with the pub they've got, they could headline a card and sell the pay-per-views where instead of being the co-main event behind somebody, because we've seen 3 really good fights out of these dudes. Both these dudes are tough as nails, have tons of gas in the tank, can go all 5 rounds. Yeah, it's great.
Yeah, they're different level of athleticism. And I heard that what was it? Jorge Masvidal is going to be coming on a card soon too, right? Not a title fight, but as a main fight.
Kobe Covington.
Good thing I have some other streaming services. I'd be broke trying to find all these online.
Yeah, because Kobe used to live on his couch, and then they were teammates, and then for some reason they had a falling out. So this is like a beef fight.
Mm-hmm. Dang. Okay, I didn't know that.
Yeah, I was just gonna come in and say, because I thought we'd finish that segment, but we hadn't, so it's okay. But I was just going to come in and say, has anybody seen the news coming out of the UK at the minute with regards to the heavyweight boxing title fights with Anthony Joshua going against Usyk and Tyson Fury and Dylan White? There are reports that Anthony Joshua has been told to step aside to let Fury and Usyk fight each other, and then he'll fight Dylan White. But Joshua's refuting that claim that he's going to step aside. What do we think about that?
Ooh.
I also read that Fury is in talks to box Francis Ngannou.
I heard something about that call out.
Seriously.
He's got to get these. Yeah, he's got to get these fights out the way before he does that. I'm pretty sure he's got to fight at least Joshua or Usyk or Dylan. I'm pretty sure Dylan's the next contender, so he has to fight Dylan White, doesn't he?
Well, when he goes to defend his title, he has to at least fight a guy in the top 8, I believe. But it's up to him. There's nothing written in that contract that says you have to fight X, Y, or Z, because boxing is not run anywhere near as buttoned up and shit as MMA promotions, because that's why boxing, the top of the ticket, gets so much more money, but everybody at the bottom gets nothing. I do know, though, if he fought Ngannou, it would be considered an exhibition bout, because Ngannou's not ranked, so they can't get him in there as a regular sanctioned boxing match. But that would draw so much money. It's going to be one of those Logan Paul, Jake Paul cards. I'd like to see Joshua fight him, though, just so we can get that over with. Fury can end it, and we can just move on.
Get out the way.
But when you watch that Joshua versus Usyk fight, Joshua was outclassed outclassed that night. If you guys watched that, he was like, and I'm an Anthony Joshua fan. He's the boxer that I choose to follow and like ever since the 2012 Olympics. He's been my guy. But he got absolutely outclassed by Usyk that night, and you can blame it on certain things, but he does have those off nights, and he showed it against the Mexican guy that he fought in New York as well. I think Uskar's deserved the fight before Joshua, but I don't think Joshua is going to step aside, but the reports are coming out that he's been asked, and he's getting I've just saw the figure £15 million to step aside so that Usyk and Fury can fight each other, and then he'll fight Dylan White or whoever else is next. So, like, does he take that bag? I don't personally think so, but it's got to be interesting.
Definitely.
I agree about deserving the fight. For me, it's just I want Joshua out of this conversation. So if we just do this fight and get it over with, I think Fury rocks him and we can move on.
Oh, definitely. Dang, I gotta step up a little bit on some of the boxing stuff. I've been taking a little break for a second, man.
I want to see AJ fight Wilder. That's what I want to see. I want to see AJ fight Wilder. I think AJ would have him. I'm not. Tyson Fury's a better boxer than them all. Let's just put that out there. The only way that Tyson Fury loses to any of them is if he lets himself. If he just decides he doesn't give a shit, which he's prone to do. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
If he just decides like, look, I've done everything that I need to do. I've earned a shit ton of money. I absolutely love my family. Fuck you guys, and just walks out. You wouldn't be surprised. That's the only way he's not the best boxer out of those four. But I think all of the UK wants to see the two UK heavyweights going against each other in Wembley Arena and see what happens there. They'll probably fight in Vegas, knowing the way that this boxing goes.
Right? It's all about money nowadays. I was watching what?
All right, guys, before we get out of here. Oh, sorry, buddy. Go ahead.
I was watching this thing about Tyson Fury about, because like you said, he was like, I was unhappy about this and that, and I had all this stuff. I was the greatest boxer, and I was drinking, doing drugs, and then I came back harder, and I'm winning. So I've definitely want to start seeing some of these other fights, like you were saying. It's definitely got me a little bit more intrigued, because if his heart's in it, or if he just says, "F you guys." Yeah. Sorry.
Oh, no worries. I was just saying before we get out of here, I didn't want to forget. I want to shout out Heart in the Fight. Check them out tomorrow. They're going to continue their playoff picks with Free Smoke and the Canadian 619. Also, keep your eye open for Scrap Talk. Shout out to OTH. They're just so great to us. I don't want to forget them. Shout out. Make sure you go over and get SK Riders' new album, Durantula 2. They dropped special edition, only $10. Get your ass over there and buy it. Make sure you check out Tales Winging It, and make sure you check out our boy Cuzzo wow. Sorry guys, I'm stumbling. Make sure you check out Cuzzo on his reactions powered by Overtime Hustling. And before we get out of here, Buddy V, let's see that tank top, man.
Yeah, Zuez, what the other one? I gotta make all my own merch, all my everything. Hook up some fighters with some merchandise too. I can help out. Everything's all pretty much hand drawn, custom, and I got some new merch coming out here soon. I got some secret stuff, and I will say this on here. I don't make it too known, but in the summertime, because fighters like to diet, and we have all sorts of stuff, and you have to cut out a lot of BS. My uncle is making a killer hot sauce, so when that comes out and gets ready, I'll be able to let everybody know. We're gonna have 2 different styles. A red and a green, and it's all it's gonna be awesome.
Are you doing the art for it? Zool hot sauce? Have we got the art on the logo and everything like that?
It's working its way. Yeah, a lot of my art's based off Mesoamerican and Aztec stuff, so it's gonna have the people. And I'm excited. It's gonna be a lot of stuff. My uncle Jason's drawing one of them, and it's gonna be more of his face, but taking a little bit more simplistic view with some of the Aztec patterns in it. So in that way, it's a rendition of him, but then he's the logo of one of them since he made the hot sauces. But I got twin uncles, so you never know. Maybe I'll do both of their faces.
That's sick, man.
That's
sick, man. And sorry, just before we leave, Jay, I just want to tell everybody that we're also doing our picks, and I've actually been doing some research this week, so I'm feeling a bit more confident. about where we're going. I've got facts and everything ready, Jay. I haven't looked at any stats for a long time, and I'm feeling good about my picks this week. And I don't know how, because it's an NFC and AFC championship game. So if everybody wants to watch me crash and burn after blowing smoke up my own ass, then please go over there. That's totally fine. Also, if you've made it to this point of the video and you're going through all of the ads, then you clearly like podcasts. We're trying to extend the Yankee and the Brit umbrella at the minute. And if any of you want to make a podcast or want to pitch a podcast idea to us, then please do let us know. If it's on sports, if it's on anything, then we'll sort that out.
Yeah.
You'd think you were a fucking professional with that segue, because what I was going to say is keep your eye open. Starting next week on Yankee and the Brit Sports Talk, the Mark Out podcast, all pro wrestling. A couple really cool dudes, and I bet you all who follow Street Beefs will know Mustache. He's going to be one of the hosts of this show. So just keep your eyes open. Well, first podcast will drop next week, or the Mark Out podcast. It's going to be a lot of fun, you guys. I just can't thank the guests enough who come on. Shout out to Terrifier. We're just so blessed that you guys accept us into your community. And stay tuned next week for our boy Shinagawa.
Oh, yeah, shit.
Heck yeah.
All right,
man.
guys. Thanks for
Shinagawa,
watching.
we're
One
looking
world,
forward to
one
having
love.
Peace.
Cheerio.
Dude.
How about that? My kids